Hello and everyone, welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. 53rd SADC Parliamentary Forum plenary kicks off in Arusha.
We indulge in implementing our own policies for food production.
Dar es Salaam advances to world-class modern city.
We are looking on the way on how we can emphasize and encourage business people to make sure they do their business 24 hours.
Good evening, I am Faiza Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBC Online. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan calls on the members of the Southern Africa Development Community Parliamentary Forum, SADC-PF, to discuss and suggest the best ways to boost food security in their countries. President Dr. Samia made the call while opening the 53rd Plenary Assembly of the Southern Africa Development Community Parliament in Arusha. Here are more details.
Is the 53rd SADC Parliamentary Forum Plenary Assembly meeting that is being held in the Arusha region with the theme Modernizing Agriculture to Address Food Insecurity and Youth Unemployment in the SADC region, Role of the Parliaments. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan is here to officiate the meeting, and she urges members of the forum to maximize on the meeting by discussing and proposing the best ways for parliamentary interventions to modernize smart agricultural production. President Dr. Samia reassures the country's commitment to deal with the problem of food insecurity by allocating a sufficient budget that will benefit the farmers, especially youth.
A myriad of coping mechanism can make food available and accessible to everyone in the region. Such interventions might include total commitment to the implementation of the various policies and strategies that have been adopted from time to time, such as the 2014 SADC Regional Agriculture Policy, food production through input support programs, intra-SADC trade, Africa Continental Free Trade Area, blue economy and conservation agriculture to build the resilience. We are coming up with so many policy programs, but we don't implement them. So this is a time we indulge in implementing our own policies for food production.
The president of the SADC-PF, Roger Mansian, assures that the forum will continue to focus on food security issues and urge the member countries to sincerely deal with the problem.
I wish to remind our gathering of members that the strategic plan 2019 to 23 of the forum is coming to an end. The rest of the time, the 6 months that remain for it, are therefore crucial to ensure that the forum attains its coveted objectives in accordance with this strategy.
The host of the parliamentarians in the country is the Speaker of the Parliament of Tanzania, Dr. Tulia Ackson, who says apart from the meeting, the members of the forum will have the opportunity to visit many tourist attractions in the Arusha region.
Arusha is primarily a gateway to our northern tourist circuit. From here, you can easily reach the magnificent Ngorongoro crater. From here, one can easily reach also Manyara National Park. From here, you can also reach Tarangire National Park. You also have Serengeti National Park, the Great, as well as the highest roof in Africa, Kilimanjaro, which is also the highest freestanding mountain in the world.
The SADC Parliamentary Forum meeting is held in Tanzania this year, following the previous one that was held in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has directed the ministerial headquarters buildings project in Dodoma to be fully completed and furnished by October this year to accommodate government's plan to start to use the buildings by January 2024, insisting the contractors to ensure they buy products produced locally. Lulua Mohammed has more.
The Prime Minister has given the directives while inspecting the construction of the ministry's buildings at Mtumba Government Town in Dodoma.
You should speed up the work. We will come here again to see the progress at the end of August. Let's see how it goes until September.
The Minister of State, Prime Minister's Office, Policy, Parliament and Coordination, Jenista Mhagama, says apart from the construction project of the ministry's buildings, another project being implemented in the area is the construction of a new monument of national heroes that will be the tallest in Africa. The tower will be 110 meters tall. Earlier, the Permanent Secretary of Prime Minister's Office, Policy, Parliament and Coordination, Dr. Jim Yunazi, says that he will ensure the completion of the construction project on time and at the appropriate standards.
In general, the construction has reached an average of 63.5%, where 3 ministries are at an average of 90%. Other buildings are at 70%, other ministry buildings are at 60%, and a few buildings are at 40%.
The Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner, Albert Chalamila, says his administration continues to put in place and execute all plans to advance the city to be one of the modern world-class cities. Here's our Regional Commissioner, Albert Chalamila, talking to my colleague, Teddy Mparinyang.
Well, Dar es Salaam is growing day by day. As you have seen the rapid expansion of Dar es Salaam, which plans are put into place in order to ensure that social services such as infrastructure, health services reach all residents?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to take this chance or to use this occasion first to thank for the word of thanks to Her Excellency President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, who led me to be here. And of course, she has a lot of hopes of me to be here in Dar es Salaam. But of course, to be here in Dar es Salaam, I found out there are a lot of issues, of course, that need to be sorted out, or we need, of course, to cooperate by our people or the entire community at large to make sure, first, we prioritize to some of the issues here in the city. One among it is how we can manage waste. Of course, Dar es Salaam is among of the regions that waste is a big problem. Now we must look at the solution on how we can have a good approach to make sure we manage or we solve this problem of having a lot of waste. How we can change waste from how we can change waste into money, and how we can change waste into energy. How we can change waste, of course, into employment. We have different. We have a group of youth whom they are in need of jobs. So one among the issue of which we are discussing with my colleagues in Dar es Salaam is how now we can change or we can use this waste to make sure it creates employment to our fellow youth. But the second issue that is here in Dar es Salaam is to make sure we open up our door to business people to make sure we do it or we do our business 24 hours. This is a city. And following this or having the tools of this city, that means we are looking on the way on how we can emphasize and encourage business people to make sure they do their business 24 hours. And we have actors or players in this. We have the police, we have financial institutions, and we have DARTs. All these, if we sit up together and discuss on how we can look up forward to make sure we open up our door to make sure all business here are performed 24 hours. This, of course, is among of the second issue we are prioritizing to make sure Dar es Salaam city is growing fast. But of course, one among the things is to make sure Dar es Salaam as a city, peace and security is maximally ensured.
And lastly, I would love to ask, as part of your plans, as you have already explained, how do you plan to brand Dar es Salaam, the city of Dar es Salaam, in order to attract more investors of products and businesses here in the city?
In order for the city to grow fast, first of all, we need to encourage investors. Of course, there are investors here in Dar es Salaam, And of course, this is one among the law prayed by Her Excellency President to make sure she encourage investors to come here in Dar es Salaam from different parts of the regions and from different parts of the country, but also outside the country. So by reflecting the truth of this law prayed by Her Excellency, we are also following or reflecting on the same reality that we have the role to encourage investors to come and invest in Dar es Salaam.
That was the Regional Commissioner of Dar es Salaam, Albert Chalamila, speaking to my colleague Teddy Mparanyanga. In other news, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Energy, Engineer Felchesmi Mramba, says the government invites investors from various countries to cooperate with it in the extraction and development of natural gas to support the government's strategy to export gas to neighboring countries such as Uganda and Zambia. Mramba made the call during the opening of the Oil and Gas Conference in Dar es Salaam that aims to discuss various ways to improve the natural gas sector in the country.
We also discussed about clean cooking technologies, because this is now a talk of the time, because we want to see how we can help our people to move away from dirty cooking technologies and methods and come into clean cooking methods and technologies. That is another area where we are looking at. We have completed the vision and the strategy on how to implement that vision, and we expect to inaugurate that vision around this month or next month.
The Permanent Secretary adds that the government, through the Rural Energy Agency, REA, plans to construct fuel filling stations in rural areas to deal with the effects of illegal fuel businesses in those areas. He adds that to facilitate the construction, the government will provide facilitation loans, and the deadline for submitting applications is August 25th this year, thus asking stakeholders and local investors to submit their applications on time. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Food Reserve Agency, NFRA, Milton Lupa, calls on farmers and agricultural cooperatives in the country to sell crops to the agency and refrain from exporting, as the agency is well positioned to offer competitive prices in the market. Lupa made the call at the 47th Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair, insisting that the government has allocated enough funds to the agency, enabling it to purchase up to 400,000 tons of food, including maize and rice.
Currently, we are purchasing two major cereal crops. We are purchasing maize, which we expect to collect more than 200,000 metric tons, and also we are purchasing paddy, which we expect to collect more than also 200,000 metric tons. But the correction of those 400,000 metric tons, it depends with the availability within the field. Because currently we have enough fund. For us, the fund is not a problem. A problem now is about availability of the cereal crops. And we offer a very good price compared to other years.
The director adds that the agency is now carrying out a project for the construction of contemporary crop storage facilities in several regions, confirming the completion of the project in the Katavi, Rukwa and Manyara regions. In other news, the Secretary General of the ruling party of Rwanda, RPF Inkotanyi, Wellas Kesamagira, says the products displayed at the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair, well known as Saba Saba, are of high quality and competitive internationally, asserting that the products can compete in trade in the free trade area in Africa. He made the remarks in Dar es Salaam when he visited the 47th International Trade Fair.
We have visited a few stands of Rwandese companies which are exhibiting here, and we find they are doing well. Mostly they're enjoying a favorable and conducive environment to show their products, and we say this is a step towards what we call the Africa Free Trade Area. If we mean things on paper, they should be clear and visible also on the ground. So this is a testament of two countries working together to favor and promote the free trade area.
On the other hand, the Minister of Investment, Industry and Trade, Dr. Eshatu Kijaji, says approximately 24 companies in Rwanda are exhibiting their products at the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair.
Wamefika hapa pia kuja kuweza kuwapa nguvu.
They are here to support their fellow companies from Rwanda, and until now we have 24 companies from Rwanda, and they are here to sell various products in our country, and they are looking for reliable markets. This visit is a great success, and as the ministry responsible for this Mwalimu Nyerere International Exhibition here in Dar es Salaam, there is a good progress compared to last.
Members of the U.S. Senate have expressed their concerns on how climate change is affecting the world's natural vegetation at Ruaha National Park in particular, and urged the community around to take action. Speaking after visiting the Ruaha National Park in Iringa, the U.S. MPs called on people living around the area to cooperate with the government to control environmental destruction. Our reporter Irene Wakalinga from Iringa has more details.
11 members of Parliament of the United States of America have arrived in Iringa region to inspect development projects funded by the government of their country through organizations under the United Nations, including UNICEF, FAO, and UNDP. Before inspecting the projects, the U.S. lawmakers have toured the Ruaha National Park and enjoyed the scenery of the park. Edward Case is a congressman from the state of Hawaii in the USA.
Tanzania, to understand your history, your culture, your peoples, your challenges, your successes, your opportunities, and obviously we're here to ask how we can help. We want to help people around the world.
Edward says they are saddened by the climate change that has affected the world's natural vegetation, and noted that joint efforts are needed to save the world.
This is in Tanzania, but in many ways this is about our entire world. And how can we save the special places and the special parts of our natural world that have been here long before we were here?
On her part, the Iringa Regional Commissioner Halima Dendego thanked the MPs and the U.S. government for developing the cooperation between the two countries.
Wamekuja hapa kutuangalia na kutukagua.
They are here to check and review health and nutrition activities. So by tomorrow, they will have the opportunity to meet with the people to see how we are fighting against malnutrition and stunting in the Iringa region.
Tunapambana na udumavu katika mkoa wetu wa Iringa.
Dendego said that with the attraction they saw in the Iringa region, the MPs from the USA will be good ambassador to promote Southern Circuit tourism.
Ruaha is a large and beautiful reserve in terms of quality, and it is the second largest reserve in Tanzania. They get the opportunity to see the attractions, therefore they contribute to our tourism sector, and to us it is a success.
Ruaha National Park is the second largest in the country, with all kinds of animals except rhinos, and has lots of herds of buffaloes, giraffes, elephants, and zebras. Irene Wakalinga, TBC, Iringa.
Now from Iringa, let's head over to Katavi, where we're told Katavi region has registered 66 drivers for M-Mama system that uses a mobile platform to connect pregnant women in rural areas to emergency transport in an effort to reduce maternal deaths. Speaking on behalf of the Katavi Regional Commissioner during the launch of the system, the Mpanda District Commissioner Yamila Yusuf says registering the new private drivers will complement the needs demanded currently to save the mother and child. It's a report by Stanley Ganza, read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
For the first time, the Katavi region is officiating the M-Mama project, where when a pregnant woman or a child less than 1 month old needs medical attention, is taken to the nearest health center through the service. Elaborating how the program works by providing a free phone number, which is 111. And when the pregnant mother calls, she is therefore connected to the nearest driver to take her to the nearest hospital, and the cost is borne by M-Mama. The district commissioner insists the program will eliminate the deaths of pregnant mothers and children.
In 2022, 589 appeals for pregnant women and 134 children were made. Also, there are appeals that were not successful due to the delay in arriving at the Emergency Service Center on time due to transportation challenges. We are sure that this challenge will be solved by the emergency transport system on which the government has worked with our development stakeholders.
Earlier, the acting regional chief medical officer, Dr. Mohamed Mpunjo, said the Katavi region still has many challenges to save the lives of pregnant mothers and infant babies due to its geographical setup.
We have increased the scope of transportation based on the availability of transportation for pregnant women. But in our region, there are several challenges. Our region has only 6 ambulances, and the presence of drivers will facilitate the transport of pregnant women.
Some drivers expressed their delight to the program, ensuring that they will provide the service to save the lives of the mother and child.
It should be looked at widely in terms of maternal and child death. Also, we are given oil in the car, which costs 1,300 shillings for every kilometer. And we are very grateful to the government because I would have to sacrifice myself to save the lives of the mother and child.
M-Mama was launched by President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan in Dodoma and is meant to be introduced throughout the country.
Now, before we wind up our local news, let us now take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Israel's military has launched air raids on the Jenin refugee camp in the northern occupied West Bank, carrying out an ongoing large-scale attack that involved a missile and the killing of at least 9 Palestinians. The operation under the hard-right government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is the biggest of its kind in years, with bulldozers, armored vehicles, and unmanned aerial vehicles. A convoy of dozens of Israeli armored vehicles also surrounded the refugee camp from all sides and launched a ground military operation, causing heavy damage to homes and roads. Israel Foreign Minister Eli Cohen has said Israel was not intending to expand an operation in the Palestinian city Jenin to the entire occupied West Bank, but their goal is to focus on Jenin, only the terrorists and their cells. The head of Roman Catholic Church, Pope Francis, said the burning of the Muslim holy book, the Quran, has made him angry and disgusted, and that he condemned and rejected permitting the act as a form of freedom of speech. In an interview with Dubai-based media in the United Arab Emirates, Pope Francis has said any book considered blessed should be respected as well as to those who respect and believe in it. On the other hand, an Islamic grouping of 57 states said collective measures are needed to prevent acts of violation to the Quran, and international law should be used to stop religious hatred after the holy book was burned in a protest in Sweden. Teenage pregnancy is a big issue worldwide, including Ghana. More than 100,000 girls there dropped out of school every year to have a baby.
That was international news. Sports news is up next. And in sports news, the upcoming talented youth boxers Mustafa Kolongo and Juma Abdallah say after winning their trials match on Sunday, they are ready to fight in the payback night bout to be held on July 15th in Dar es Salaam. Speaking after the fight, Kolongo and Abdallah add that the match has boosted their skills and they are ready to showcase their talents on the big stage.
I want to tell you that I am physically fit. We ask promoters to give us tough fights so that we can showcase our talents. We are doing a lot of practice for a long time without getting fight. But if we get fight regularly, we can reach our potentials.
Boxers Mustafa Kolongo and Juma Abdallah have qualified to fight a non-title fight in the payback night bout. Now let's head over to the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello viewers, welcome for the next 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. My name is Teresa Ngasa. By starting with the windy flow pattern, wind is expected to flow with a speed of 20 km per hour from southeast over the Lake Victoria Basin. Also is expected to flow with a speed of 30 km per hour from southwest over the northern part of Lake Tanganyika and 30 km per hour from southeast over the southern part of Lake Tanganyika. Also is expected to flow with a speed of 30 km per hour from southeast over Lake Nyasa. And wind is expected to flow with a speed of 40 km per hour from south over the northern part of the coast. Also is expected to flow with a speed of 40 km per hour from southeast over southern parts of our coast. And TMA is issuing an advisory of period of strong winds and large waves over some areas over the coastal belt. Therefore, precautive measures are advised to be taken. And for tonight, it is expectation that the minimum temperature is expected to be 6 degrees Celsius over Mbeya region. And we also expect over Tanga, Pemba and Unguja ISOs, we expect it to have partly cloud condition, light rain showers over a few areas. The remaining part of the country is expected to feature partly cloudy condition. For tomorrow, it is expectation that high grounds over Kilimanjaro and Arusha are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, light rain showers over a few areas. The same weather is expected over Tanga region, Dar es Salaam, and Pwani region. Over Pemba and Unguja ISOs, we expect it to have partly cloudy condition, rain showers over a few areas. The remaining part of the country for tomorrow is expected to feature partly cloudy condition. And now let's take a look on the 4 days weather forecast. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
And that's it from TBC News. Don't miss our next bulletin in Swahili at 11 p.m. I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.